youtube.com/MugenLord. Subscribe to the channel for gaming news, updates, discussion, and live streams. Signing off.
Hey guys, it's Mugen Lord here, and it's been a while since I've pretty much done a video. I think it's been almost a week now. I've been very busy. Besides the fact that I've been streaming and everything, I'm glad you guys have stopped through for that. If you haven't checked out any of my past streams, I streamed Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, and also Sonic, and Team All-Star Racing, and also Killer Instincts. I believe that I still have those archived on my channel, so you haven't checked that out, I advise you go check it out. So besides the fact that I've been busy, I finally got around to actually putting my Adobe Premiere, my Adobe Photoshop onto my secondary hard drive operating system, which is Windows 10 now. So now that I moved pretty much everything over, now I'm back to, I guess, our regular scheduled videos. So today I want to talk about something that's really been irking me for the past couple days, because I've seen a lot of this being passed around, a few articles being passed around about this on Facebook by a lot of people, and also some YouTubers are also covering this, and it seems like some people are misinformed, or some people use this as a form of clickbait, and it pretty much misinforms the game community altogether. So now, what am I talking about? Well, if you guys haven't checked out, Microsoft had pretty much put out some information regarding exclusives for the upcoming next gen console, which is the Xbox Series X, which is we're going to get more information about this year, pretty much 2020. Well, there's an article that's been floating around, and a lot of other places been pretty much taking the same bit of information and posting it up. And the way it's, I guess you can say, it's titled in a way to where it's very clickbaity, or it's like intentionally done to pretty much get everybody talking and thinking, I guess you could say, pretty much thinking negative about the approach that Microsoft is taking with this next gen system. Now we're going to go into the article, because this is where I really want to talk about, and hopefully we can pretty much unravel a lot of this misinformation, or people just not understanding, you know, what's really going on behind the scene. So from Twinfinity, or Twinfinite, it says that the Xbox Series X won't have first-party generation exclusives initially. Now, people on Facebook, some YouTubers are putting in their videos saying that Xbox Series X won't have exclusives, like period, like at launch won't have exclusives. And I see a lot of people going, you know, posting the same article or saying the same thing, that Microsoft won't have any exclusive, especially since they said for the next 1 to 2 years they won't have any exclusives. Now, if you hear that, it does really sound like it's really, really bad and everything. So in order for me to, I guess you could say, just to break this down and stuff, we're going to just read the article first, and then we'll just talk about it. Now, speaking with MCV, head of Xbox Studios, Matt Booty, I know that name's funny, has explained that all first-party Xbox Series X games will play on Xbox One for at least the first year or two. It's a decision made in accordance with the company's policy that recent Xbox One customers should feel they made a good investment even before the launch of the next generation, of the new generation. Now, as our content comes out over the next year, this is quoted, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down that family device. We want to make sure that that if someone invested in the Xbox between now and the Series X, that they feel that they made a good investment, and that we're committed to them with content. Now, like I said before, if you look at the article, it says Xbox Series X won't have first-party generation exclusives initially, and then there's other articles saying that they won't have exclusives at all for the first 1 to 2 years. Now, the thing is, if you just look at the title alone, which there's a lot of people passing around and not clicking on the article and just reading the title, and the title states that Xbox Series X won't have exclusives, everybody was just running with that. Now, the thing is, Microsoft and the Xbox Series X, or just the Microsoft brand, they will have exclusives. Let's just clear the air. They will have exclusives. Now, what they're really trying to say is that they don't have any exclusives that's just branded for the Xbox Series X. So what they're saying is that Microsoft will have exclusives, but you will be able to play them not only on the Xbox Series X, you will be able to play them on the Xbox One as well. And that's what they're talking about. They will have exclusives. Let's just make this clear. Xbox will have exclusives. It's just the fact is that if you want to get the Xbox Series X, you'll be able to play those games on Xbox Series X. And if you own Xbox One or Xbox One X, you will still be able to play those exact games. So Xbox will have exclusives. It will have exclusives. It's just the fact is that they won't have the exclusives in the sense that they're only exclusive to the Xbox Series X, but they will have exclusives. You just be able to, whatever console, Xbox console you got, you'll still be able to play the same exact games, which is pretty much cross generation. And I don't see the problem with this and everything. A lot of people think this is a bad thing that they're going with, but I think this is a different approach that they're doing than the traditional sense, where out the gate, went back, and especially for the past couple of generations, where consoles would have console exclusive only games for that next gen console. So a lot of people are thinking that, hey, if they're not going to have any exclusives or whatever like that, what's the incentive to go buy Xbox Series X? Now, what people don't understand is, when it comes to these consoles and everything, when it comes to a launch of a console, if you think about it, when a console launched, yes, you may have, somebody, mom and pops, buy their kids or buy their teens a console on launch day. But most of the time when it comes to launch, it's more so necessary to hardcore, gaming fans that sit outside in that long line to get the consoles. Now, it normally takes roughly, from my personal experience and having friends around me and having people that I know over the internet, most people don't normally jump into the next generation until about a year or two later, especially because of the price drop, and they just want to wait for the right time in order for them to make that jump. Not everybody is able to necessarily make that jump over to next gen. So Microsoft want to do something a bit different, because if you don't know, or if you haven't caught up on anything, the Xbox Series, not the Xbox Series, excuse me, the Xbox One X, during the holiday had a nice sale. You was able to get the I think the Xbox One X, you was able to get it for like $250, I believe, over the Christmas holiday. So there's a lot of people who picked up the Xbox One X. And now that they bought this Xbox One X, and like Matt Booty is even saying in the article, in the interview, a lot of people have bought this console, and now buying this console, we walking into 2020, and now we get an announcement that the Xbox Series X, which is the next gen console, which is being released this year. So as a consumer, some consumers will feel robbed at the fact is that, hey, like, I just spent this and now they just announced a new console. But another thing I want to also talk about is the fact is that I think this is something that's been planned and in behind the scenes, as far as these mid-generation consoles. I never thought at the fact is that, what was the purpose of the mid-generation consoles? Did we really need the mid-generation consoles like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro? But it kind of makes sense now, because these next-gen consoles are going to be pretty powerful, and these consoles, and especially as far as the architecture is concerned, they're more aching and they're more closer to being PCs. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, now that these new consoles are coming out, it's easy to build the game at its highest settings, at its highest quality, and then what they can do is they can break them down to fit each of their past generations or other devices that they have and everything. So I really think that that's what's going on here with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, because yes, Sony did mention that they will have PS5 as only games, exclusive games, coming out on launch, because they stick into the traditional sense how they do releases and everything. But a lot of people is being worried about it, and worried at the fact is that this may hurt them in the long term, or at the fact is that no one's going to buy Xbox Series X. Now, as I was saying, as long as Microsoft has the, I guess you can say, the games, the software to warrant to go buy Xbox Series X, because I'm like this. people, especially if you're a gamer, sometimes you want that high fidelity graphics. You want the 60 frames per second. You want all those type of things. So if, as long as Microsoft has those, have the games and have with the Xbox Series X, as long as they have the games and it runs smooth, it looks even better than the Xbox One X or the regular base Xbox One, then people's going to buy it, because people want that ultimate performance. They want the ultimate quality. They want that max experience. So people's going to go make that jump, especially if the software is there to warrant it. So farther in the article, it says that that's a philosophy totally at odds with how we've thought of the new generations as a hard reset. In the past, companies like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have always sought to push new console hardware with exclusive software. While that will continue in the long term, Booty says, is not how launch games like Halo Infinite will be positioned. So our approach is to pick one or two IP that we're going to focus on and make sure that they are there at launch of the console, take advantage of all the features, and for us, that's going to be Halo Infinite, which is a big opportunity. So Booty insists that despite being Xbox One compatible, Infinite will take full advantage of the Xbox X's performance. Now, this is what I'm saying. Now, like I said before, yes, you can get Halo Infinite on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, but you're also able to get it on the Xbox Series X. Now, a lot of people think that this is going to hold back the power or hold back some things when it comes to developing the game, since it still has to rely on making it compatible for all platforms. But just like the article said, and like I'm saying, it's like PC, hardware, where this game is designed to take full advantage of the Xbox Series X. So this game is not being handicapped, it's not being crutched or anything by the fact is that it can be played on Xbox One X and the base Xbox One. Is the fact is that it's like a PC. It's going to be built at its max performance, and then for each device, pretty much the settings are pretty much being lowered to fit each of those devices. So I don't think that the games are going to be held back for it being cross generation. So I don't think that's something we want to worry about. And I think Halo Infinite, I think it's going to be a title that's going to prove that, and I think it's going to be a title that may reassure everyone that that's not the case as far as power is concerned and everything. So we're going to continue on. So in response to a question about whether Microsoft plans to acquire any further studios moving forward, he also said, we may or may not acquire more studios down the road, but I think that we hit a point where we had gone through a phase of adding new studios, and that's a lot of work to make sure that we get the studios on board correctly, that we make sure that everyone feels secure. Now, if you guys don't know, they acquired, I believe, about 10 studios. So these 10 studios are creating games and creating exclusive games specifically for the Xbox Series X. We may have to wait 1 or 2 years. Now, a lot of people is really I see a lot of people on Facebook, and I see a lot of people in my social circle who are really upset and disappointed in Microsoft. And all I can say is that, yes, it's risky. And Microsoft, in a sense, now, the way they're thinking more long-term than they did short-term. Now, before, when it came to the Xbox One or whatever, they were thinking in the long term as far as the whole DRM, always being connected online and everything. And we wasn't there at a point in gaming where everything was going to be digital, where we now be playing things from the cloud and stuff like that. And the industry wasn't ready for that console-wise. So it kind of hurt them it kind of hurt them with the Xbox One. That's why PS4 pretty much took the lead after that. But I believe now that we live, that time has changed and the industry is changing, and the gaming altogether is changing. I really think that this will definitely help them more so in the long run than affect them in the short term. You may see some negative effects, but I think in the long term it's definitely going to help them out, and I think it's all going to work out, because I really think that the way Microsoft is approaching this right now, they're pretty much they more so focusing on software and getting their services in line rather than hardware. It seemed like hardware is really not the issue to them, because they want their games to be played and they want their services to be taken advantage of on all devices. And I think they're trying to put a foothold on that market before their competitors, because they know in the future that gaming is going to be heading to the cloud. gaming is going to pretty much eventually become a service, and hardware is not going to really be much of an issue because you'll be able to play it on any type of device as long as they have a screen and everything. So that's what I think that Microsoft is really trying to do with this next generation console. But they definitely still want to put effort, in my opinion, to the Xbox Series X. And just to let you guys know, some of you guys may see this as me trying to, I guess you say, damage control for Microsoft in the Xbox, or you may even think that I'm a Microsoft Xbox fanboy. But I didn't buy the Xbox One this generation. I totally skipped out on the Xbox One. There was no incentive for me to jump over at all. So I had got only a Switch and a PS4. But I'm really having faith in Microsoft and what they're doing this time, and I'm really interested to see what they do with the Xbox Series X. So I definitely want to go. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to E3 and see what they have, because I definitely want to get an Xbox Series X, and of course I want to get a PS5. No doubt about that. But I think that they're taking a different approach, and the fact is that they're acquiring different studios. They're building relationships with Japanese studios now that Final Fantasy 14 is officially coming over to the Xbox. So that's also get signed and everything. So all I'm telling everybody is just to not to be too pessimistic about it. I mean, still keep your expectations, to a minimum. But also just wait and see what Microsoft doing with their roadmap is as we get closer to E3 and we see what their slate is as far as releases for their games and everything for the platform. But that pretty much sums up this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about Microsoft taking a different approach as far as having launch titles and everything? And like I said before, Nintendo has done it before. If you think about it, Breath of the Wild not only came out for the Nintendo Wii U, it also came out for the Nintendo Switch. And look at the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch has done phenomenal. Look at Zelda Twilight Princess. It not only came out for the Nintendo GameCube, it also came out for the Wii U. So that also, not the Wii U, also for the Wii. So it didn't hurt the Nintendo Wii sales at all. So for the fact is that they're going to have Halo Infinite for the Xbox One and also for the Xbox Series X, I don't see I don't think any effect is going to happen, like negative effect is going to happen at all. So I definitely hear your thoughts. Do you think this is like a very, very risky move on their end? Do you think that gaming is going in a direction to where you be able to play on any device and having the Xbox Game Pass and having these services? Do you think this is a smart move and that they're trying to get their claws into that market right now? So definitely hear your thoughts. If you like the video, share it around, subscribe. And also, if you want to be notified for more information related to Microsoft and the Xbox Series X, also hit the bell to be notified. This is Mugen Lord, sign off. See you Game Fiends later. Peace out. It looks like you reached the end of the video. Well, while you're at it, check out some of my other discussion videos by clicking on the annotations below. And don't forget to follow me on other social media platforms to stay up to date with future content. Signing off.